Hi, and welcome to an interview for the course 31761, Renewables in Electricity Market. Right now we have with us Emil, and Emil is going to tell us what's going on out there with the energy transition, new business models, new exciting companies popping up. But you'll hear more about that in a minute. Nice to have you here, Emil. Could you please tell us who you are?
So my name's Emil. I'm an engineer at Utiligize. This is a company that I co-founded a few months ago with an economist, and we're doing regulatory software and also scenario planning for utilities in Denmark.
Mm-hmm. What's your background, Emil?
So I studied, originally I did a bachelor's in physics, then I came to DTU to study wind energy on the master's, and then I did a PhD with you in electrical engineering, focusing on electricity market design, and that was supported by the EcoGrid project, which is this a large Danish project on Bornholm where we're sending out 5-minute price signals to activate demand response from houses.
So you had a strong focus on the electricity market, trying to think of new business models for the demand, how they could help actually for integration of renewables and be rewarded for it. Okay.
Yeah, how we could reduce the cost and integrate renewables maximize social welfare.
Okay, so I hope it was a success.
Yeah.
And so today, what do you do? You mentioned this company, Utiligize. You mentioned what's the overall aim. You personally, what do you do there? Are you a programmer? Are you a salesman?
Well, when you start a company, you're everything. So you're kind of the accountant. You have an accountant as well, but you're doing all of the sort of menial tasks that you have to do. But I guess from a professional standpoint, I'm the developer, a programmer. I do the front end for our main product, Ubench. So the front end being, we've coded everything up in R. My colleague is the economist doing the algorithms in the background. And then I've made a front end for that so that you can log in via a browser and not have to program, but get some results from some quite complicated algorithms and a very big data set.
What I hear from you is that some of the nice skills you need if you want to start this kind of business is programming, playing with data, and after you say being really multidisciplinary, from doing the account to meeting people to
we're doing sales once or twice a week. We're out in Jutland. We're driving around meeting usually CFOs, which is surprising. You wouldn't have thought that, two kind of unknown guys. We're young. We don't have a well-known business, but we're coming with something unique, something they haven't seen before. So they take the phone, they invite us in, and you get more opportunities than you'd expect, actually.
That's a nice transition, because what you seem to say is that there's a need out there. So people are looking around and want some new things to help their business with energy, with electricity markets. So what do you think is going on today with this energy transition?
Well, it's changing faster than the companies can basically keep up with. They've got a huge amount of data from smart meters, and it's not just electricity, it's also water, sewage, gas, district heating. We're getting real-time measurements for everything here. Customers are becoming more informed, and the companies, they don't have the right skills. It's the skills were right for a generation ago, but today, when you go out, you realize they can't even get data out of their database. They don't know. Somebody else set it up for them, and it's a real problem for them. So it's changing faster than they can keep up with.
So I hear two things in what you say. First, I was going to ask you what's the role of renewables, but you seem to tell me here we talk a lot about digitization. It's nice they're renewables, but at the same time it's really data that's driving all this change. We agree?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, obviously renewables is a very exciting part as well, but it's not actually the focus of certainly our customers today. Right now, their problem isn't renewables. Their problem is data, is
how to deal with data,
how to deal with it, how to report it correctly.
Yeah.
It's things like GDPR. It's making these systems secure, being able to offer their customers something interesting, because otherwise they're going to get steamrolled by a startup who can do it better than them and cheaper than them.
So, and the second thing I heard from you earlier is about this lack of skills maybe out there. So does that mean that it's an exciting time for young engineers who have the right skills?
It's a very exciting time. At university you do a lot of your courses and you use MATLAB. And that's not what the companies are looking for. What the companies need is, basically a company isn't going to buy you a MATLAB license. You need to know a little bit of R or Python or Java or something similar like that, which is free. It doesn't cost the company anything, but you can generate enormous value for them. Another hard skill, if we're talking about hard skills, is SQL, SQL. If you're a student out there and you don't know that, spend a Saturday morning installing some kind of open source database, do some exercise, write it on your CV, because you will become one of the most invaluable people at a DSO, for example. Just knowing how to extract data, do some summary statistics on it, make some profiles. That's another part of our business, is what we're doing for companies.
So that's good to hear. So it means we want the young engineers to be proficient with data handling, with programming, have an understanding about business models. So because you say out there's a need, but I guess you need to understand what's going on before you can offer something that really fit the situation.
Right. It's no good just being a really great programmer. There are some of them out there. We work with them in different projects. EcoGrid 2, I work with some straight-up programmers. They don't know the context that their work is going into. It's not enough. And if you set them to do something, often they will deliver something that you can't really use. So it's having some traditional skills, understanding how the business functions, how the markets work, and then being able to go in and create something that...
so that's the thing. There's a value in having this multidisciplinary approach. And being proficient. So you have to be able to jump from one of this skill set to the other and create value from it. Right. And to finish, could you please tell us what you think this electricity market is going to be in, say, 30 years?
It's okay. So here it's very uncertain.
You're free to speak.
Yeah. I can see we're going down one of two paths. One is where you have one company, a company that has a monopoly on all distribution, transmission. It's very difficult to see many electricity retailers. It just becomes heavily regulated. It's a pretty boring future.
This is one option.
This is one option, and we're seeing it. This is something that my company does. We do analysis of what happens if two companies merge, to their income and to their profits. So that's one future. The other future is we go completely other direction. Everything becomes decentralized. You get a lot of off-grid customers. Whole cities could cut their ties to the transmission grid. I mean, the transmission grid doesn't necessarily serve your interests, my interests. It might serve the producer's interests. I mean, if we get Viking Link going from Denmark to the UK, I would argue that doesn't serve potentially our interests for another 10 years. Really, it's German coal power producers that are benefiting from that. So this might drive cities, communities off-grid, do peer-to-peer trading.
To self-organize.
Self-organize. You've got very cheap solar panels. You're going to have batteries, cheap storage in 30 years' time. People can become self-sufficient. That's a more exciting future. It's a strange future. I don't know.
But we have these two options, and we just don't know yet where it's going to go.
I can't see, things are not going to stay as they are now. I can't see it.
So can we agree and say that we're at a tipping point, and that's this new generation of engineers that's going to make it happen, help us decide, and we'll just see where it goes, right?
There's a gold rush in the next 10 years. And you could make some optimization models and see which one...
is the most likely?
Which one generates the most value for society, but I'm not sure that will be the deciding factor. I think what might be the deciding factor is how much we enjoy having ownership over our energy systems. And I think that everyone does enjoy that, and people are interested in having a stake in these things.
Okay. Thank you very much for sharing these great insights. So I think that's the end of the interview, and
Thanks
good
for
luck.
having me. Thanks.
Bye.